Hey, so we're meeting again at a very auspicious time, the new moon solar eclipse happening either the 19th or the 20th, depending on what time zone, what part of the world you are in. And man, guys, this one is a fireball. This one is just roasty toasty, which is why I draped everything in water vibes, soft spring vibes. This my painting up there, which is uh I feel like it's one of renewing the self and going from, we've just gone through, if you live here in the northern hemisphere, we've gone through the winter, which was one heck of a winter. Wow. And going through the deep dark of the winter and then the spring, which then revives you and you come back out of hibernation and into springtime. And so I really feel like this painting kind of encapsulates that of like reviving yourself with water and life and but you're still kind of tiptoeing out of the dark a little bit. So yeah, I don't know. With this particularly scorchy uh, new moon, I keep saying solstice, solar, solar what? See what I mean? It's kind of like frying the circuits, man. Okay, so let me start that again. If you guys are feeling pretty scorchy, then I just invite you to just like relax and drop in for a little bit and I don't know, release some tension that has been building up. So, I have been feeling this myself. I have been sensing this in others, in my friends, in my coworkers, my boss, my family, everybody around me is like I feel like I need to walk a little bit on pins and needles with everybody, but that is not how I actually feel inside. How I feel inside is I feel that sense of spring taking hold and I feel that life force energy coming back online and it feels good to me actually. And so I actually want to invite you guys to actually feel into this regardless of what is going on in your life, just to feel the power of how juicy and alive this time is and to allow that to just that scorchiness to just like a hearth fire go ahead and cook all of that debris out of your body because that's what it's here for. So cook it out, guys, cook it out and slough it off and get ready for something new. Because something new there is something new that is going to happen big time, guys. Something new is on the horizon. I feel like it's a camera angle, but this water is gigantic. So hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. And let's actually just dive into the energies here and the transmission that we're going to receive for this new moon eclipse. Um, oh, by the way, I don't think I mentioned any of the astrology about it. It is at um, I think it's like the last degree of Aries. It might be 28, 29. I don't remember, but it is at the last little edge of Aries, and that's a karmic degree. That is you're ending some karma. So if you're feeling some scorchiness, take a look at where 28, 29 degrees Aries is happening in your chart because that is going to point you towards something that you are working through and probably validate a little bit of your experience to say, like, you're not going crazy. This is actually you processing and purging and letting something really important go so that you can make space for that new, amazing, beautiful thing that is on the horizon. So Go ahead and take a peek at that and see where does it live in your chart. That being said, okay, I'm going to pull from these. These are the archetype. We already got it. I think this is just like a quick little message. It's the stone. Interesting. So I'm feeling that little popping out message is just a cue for us to drop into our bodies and anchor yourself a little bit before we begin. Maybe this is a good time to pause and get yourself some tea or a little snack, something that puts you into your body. And then you can absorb the transmission, whatever it might be. Okay, so let's see. New moon, solar eclipse, Aries, making a square to Pluto, which is yeah, we talked a lot about Pluto in the last couple readings. Wow. It's just big energy, guys. Big energy. So let's see what's coming out. They're not popping like they did normally. Let's see. Out you come. Where are you? Which one are you? Is it even here? There it is. Okay. Oh, we have two. Okay. The unseen, the nectar. The unseen and the nectar. Wow. So what nectar are you not seeing right now? Or what nectar is there's some sweetness that you have closed your eye to. So what is that? What have you closed your eye to? And look at this little hand reaching into the middle of the rose, and that this balance of light and dark, and then this super saturated, beautiful magenta pink just feels so vibrant and alive. But then there's this little bit, this little quiet bit in the middle, almost like reaching into the stillness, reaching into that unseen. Wow. Okay. So those are some archetypes that we're working with this particular every time I try to say it, I feel like I don't know the words. This is this solar eclipse. How weird is that? So maybe it's not about words. Maybe this solar eclipse is not, it's not about words. But here we are trying to put some words to it anyway, because the words are unseen. Totally. Wow. Okay. And I feel also with the unseen, this is support that we might not actually know about. Like, just think at any moment in time, just think of just how many people are out there spreading love into the world, and that you can be open to receive that at any time. People do global meditations, they go to different healing conventions, Reiki circles, women's groups, men's groups, all just people groups getting together to do healing work. Just think of the magnitude of that and how that is just out there. And all you have to do is just reach into that unseen and tap into the collective wellspring of healing and love and juiciness. That nectar is life juice, right? If you think of the nectar of a flower, like hummingbirds come and find the nectar, and they've evolved to grow long beaks just so that they can reach all the way down to sip that yummy juice. And that juice is what feeds them, and that's what feeds us. And sometimes what feeds us is not necessarily all that clear. It's not always completely in focus. Sometimes we need to reach for it a little bit because of past programming, of things that we are closed off to, that we're not allowing ourselves to see. And so I really feel that this coming in is this new moon, this solar eclipse. Here we go. I'm gonna get the words right. Here we go. Is actually starting to un unshield the eye is what I am hearing, but I'm literally feeling like, this eyelid was closed and then it was open, so like opening your eye to it. So it this is an activation, clearly. Okay, so let's actually dig in a little deeper and let's see, let's tap a little bit more into the unseen nectar of this new moon solar eclipse and the transmission that wants to come through for us today. What do we need to know about it? What is coming through? Oh, lots and lots. Okay. Okay. Being the mentors. Being the mentors. 77. Stepping into that mentor role, recognizing that you actually are worthy of teaching something really beautiful, really powerful. That maybe if you're, have always been on the side where you are the student, perhaps this is you're maybe tipping into a point now where you've got something up your sleeves that now you actually know really, really well, and you could step forward and begin to show, stepping into more of that mentor role. And that maybe this energy that we are feeling actually is guide, like being a mentor to how do you work with emotions and fiery energy and this drive, this super boost energy. How do you ride that wave instead of being scorched by it? And this moon is being a mentor to us to actually teach us how to ride that wave instead of getting sucked into the current. And so I love this card that it seems like we are, I mean, that's, I don't know, hey, like a graduation card almost. Whoa, freedom, freedom. Wow, okay. Setting yourself free, like in that space actually where you start to shift from being the student to being a teacher. Even though I feel like there's never an end to learning, there never can be an end to learning, right? There's always so much more mystery, but in that tipping point there is a certain freedom of feeling like you know something, feeling like you're ready to share something and being free to share it, allowing it to actually look at this little card where it's like beaming out of his little head. It's like this beautiful energy of like I think in the last reading we talked about that this precisely this, this little antenna like broadcasting our energy out to the universe. And if you're broadcasting out freedom, and that's what you get back. You get freedom. But there's always going to be the clunky bit where you have to negotiate your ties to the way you haven't been free. There's always that little clunky bit. And I think that's the mentor energy. When you start to feel the different things, whenever you're broadcasting whatever it is that you do want, but then you're seeing the things in your life that you don't want, how do you actually start to move through that? Well, it's like you take a look at those things and they're teaching you what it is that you need in order to be free. They're showing you, like, those emotions are your compass, your barometer, showing you which way you want to go and what it is that you no longer want to create in your world. So let's, wow, this one, embracing transition. Embracing transition. Like I was talking about like riding that wave, like learning how to move through the changes. moving through the challenges that we all face in actually um manifesting, the things that we love the most, a healthy life. Perhaps you want to make a family. Maybe you want a different job, or yeah, just you name it. But whatever it is that you are trying to move towards, well, embracing the transition time, because things happen so quickly on the spirit level, like, on the quantum level, it already is here. Whatever it is that you're dreaming about is already here. However, in the physical, it takes time and patience for us to watch it move out and move it along. And so, if it's something super logistic, like, a new job, then it's like you need to quit the old job, pack up the stuff that was there, apply for the new job, move to the new one. So, there's like physical steps that happen before it becomes, that taste of freedom. So, this new moon, I feel, is actually that rocket boost fire energy to get us to actually explore the things that we want to create. Um, yeah. Since this one, embracing transition, since this one, I feel this one is the probably the hardest one, because it's like, unseen, embracing change. It's not always easy to change. It's not always easy to jump into the unknown, uh, to trust the unseen, to trust that, maybe you don't know where you're going next. Perhaps you do not know what the next step is. And so transitioning can feel really scary, really hard. Like maybe it's overwhelming. And so I really, 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 for this moon particularly, I've been inviting Kuan Yin into so many of my readings these days, because she's just so soft and so merciful, and she understands the human. She understands it well. She lived it, and then um she went on to be the mentor. So that's why we want to call in Kuan Yin again, because I just love her. And I've been really feeling, especially this Aries time, lots of Kuan Yin energy, um, regulating the flame on the hearth. So let's go ahead and let's see what Kuan Yin is going to grace us with during this new moon. Oh wow, very jumpy. But that was like 8 cards. So she has lots to give, very abundant Kuan Yin energy. Uh, I feel this one. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'll have to read this one because I have not seen this one yet. So it is called Blessing of the Kata Bestowed. Blessing of the Kata Bestowed. And I just love the movement and energy of this. Like, I really feel like this feels like surrender. I really get a big surrender vibe from this, but look at how it's surrender with grace and ease and relaxation. Like she's bending into the wind, like away from the wind, and watching the silk. And I feel like that silk is maybe a representation of her hopes and dreams, and she's still kind of guiding it, holding on. She's not fully all the way letting go of this. So perhaps there's still some planning to do. All right, we're gonna read. So maybe that's part of like when we're transitioning, that we take time to reflect and plan and see what it is that we actually want. especially when things come up that we don't want, like that gives us super duper clarity on what we do want, right? So it says, in your heart, a desire for union grows, an impulse to move deeper into love's embrace. As you open your heart, I am able to gift you with my healing balm and blessing. It is never too late for love. It is never too late for joy. It is never too late for connection. As my blessing vests in your heart, a path will open up for you, leading you into love's expansive landscape. You are worthy of such a blessing and shall be safe in the joy of its embrace. And so there's a bit here that says, in the Tibetan tradition, the white silk scarf is known as the kata, and it's a positive symbol that represents new relationships with blessings for good fortune. It's a symbol of devotion and is also a visual reminder of divine blessing granted for a successful transition into a new chapter of your life. So it's a sign of good intention and goodwill and divine presence in all things. Wow. So really is like Kuan Yin coming in to grace this embracing transition. Well, Kuan Yin is embracing it with you, and she's dancing with this white scarf, the kata, which I'd love to look into the tradition more and learn more about what that looks like and what they do. But isn't that just a beautiful, beautiful image? And that expansive space. And that really does, that expansive space feels like freedom. And that mountain in the back feels like the mentor. Mm. And you have like half a little yak here, half a little yak, just looking straight at you, reminding you to be courageous, determined, and not quit. Do not give up. Don't give up on your vision. Even if you cannot see what your vision is, do not give up on your vision. It is the nectar of your life. Oh, this reading is helping me feel softer. Hmm. I hope that it's soothing people out there too. Because yeah, I don't know. Change is crazy hard sometimes because then we hold on to things really tightly. Um, for the fear that maybe things will not be better. Because what happens if things change and they don't get better? What if they get worse? But that's what you're broadcasting. So broadcast that things will get better. Look at how many blessings are coming out in this moon. Like lean into the blessing of this moon, that this moon is bringing. Perhaps it's actually bringing new teachers along. Perhaps you're ready for, I think I forget exactly how it's phrased, but when the student is ready, then the teacher arrives, something like that. And so perhaps there's also a something new on the horizon that is going to either be like the teachers come in all forms, like an actual person teacher. This could be even like making friends with new crystals. Teachers come in all different forms. Like maybe you find a new book or a new podcast that really inspires you to um to do something perhaps you've never explored before, that you never thought of. Maybe they come along, they teach something that is so exciting that it really fills you with that freedom and that nectar to try something out, to change something up. inspire you. Okay, so we're going to pull from the Starseed Oracle, and we've already got our card. Let's see what the Starseed Oracle says about this moon. And it says, water your garden. Ain't that the truth? Oh my God. Water your garden with so much fire. Oh my goodness, my ankle. With so much fire in this chart, like in this moon and like I think Jupiter is also, I would have to pull it up and I don't want to take too much time to like be looking for that. But when I looked up, there are a few different things happening in Aries. I think Jupiter goes into Aries shortly after, so we're going to have lots of fire. And so remembering to quench your garden. Don't allow your plants to go dry in there. And so it says nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest, finding ways to rest. And I know for me here, my home is quite loud and finding ways to rest through that. It's like I just got myself a pair of noise canceling earphones and just find a way to rest. And until things start to shift in your reality, where that becomes easier and easier and easier, but remembering that these things on the 3D take time, that it doesn't always manifest overnight. So little by little, water that garden, take care of yourself, eat food that really feeds you. Like, um, I like to be really intuitive about food. Like go into to the grocery store, call in your most trusted guide and ask, like, hey, can you show me the foods that are just really aligned for me right now? What's going to be super nourishing and heal me right now? And you'd be surprised. Different things pop out that you might not have thought about. Yeah, the last time I did that, pumpkin seeds came into my life, and I love pumpkin seeds, but it's not a thing I would have not like grabbed. And yeah, but I did this practice right before walking into the grocery store, and those pumpkin seeds just kind of like it made my mouth water, and I'm like, ooh, yum. Okay, sure, why not? I'll eat that. And they've been a really healthy, yummy transition from maybe some other snacks that would not be as great for me. So find different ways of watering your garden, listening to good music. I see this woman taking a bath or this person taking a bath out in the sun in the starlight. I mean, it's just rejuvenating. Finding ways that rejuvenate your soul. And so that feeling coming in, it's also with a new moon, it's dark, it's the womb time of the moon cycle. And so this is a time to actually go into that quiet place. And in that quiet place, you see the unseen. You actually close off the senses to all of the distractions, close off the senses, come back deep into your own inside new moon, that quiet, dark in there. Because in there really is the nectar for whatever it is that you want to create next. Because your soul knows, your inner knowing knows. It knows precisely what is going to water your garden. It knows precisely what is going to set you free. And it helps to move through transition stronger and clearer in the senses. So find time to like really with this, like what better self-care is there than going into yourself and listening, giving your inner knowing a voice for a moment and to tell you what it needs. What does it need? What does it want? And that voice is quiet and requires silence, requires a break from the world around you a break from all the distractions. And that's something, honestly, that needs to be carved out sometimes. Like in this kind of busy world we live in, it's rare that that's just kind of given. So you do need to make the time to water your garden, and that's crucial. It's not selfish, it's absolutely selfless, because the more you take time to care for yourself, the more energy, the more abundance you will have to take care of everything around you that needs to be taken care of. Like, look at this little card, this little hand reaching out, and look at all these beads. I kind of see this as like all of the different people that need you in your life, that rely on your level of responsibility. And then I really see like this little hand reaching into the dark, remembering your inner rose. Because as soon as you actually find it, you touch it, then look, that that right there just naturally gives everybody what they need. And it's not an efforting thing. It just comes so easily. Okay, so let's find out what guide is coming online for us right here. We have Kuan Yin, but we asked her to come in. So now let's actually see who would like to come in. Oh, wow. The water guardian. And I'm being reminded that we still have two big planets, Saturn and Neptune, in Pisces. And so this is a nice balance. Those are two big heavyweight planets. And so calling in that energy to balance the water, the fire. Yeah. And it says connect with your emotions. Connect with your emotions. And that can be very tricky, connecting with our emotions, because sometimes emotions are a tide and they are this undulating. Just think of the ocean. Like, there's some places that are really quiet, some places that are roaring and tumbling, and that is you. That's you in there. There's some emotions that are very placid and still, like a lake. And then there's others that are roaring and tumbling and causing confusion. And so connecting with those emotions, like, that really is the compass. The emotions show you what's needed, what's out of balance, what do you need more of, what do you need less of. But yeah, look at how that pairs with the water guardian coming in to help us water our garden. She's so good at it. Like, that's her number one job. So you can call in the water guardian to help you remember how to water your garden, because water is memory, and it carries the memory of all things that have happened before. It's powerful. And so doing a little water cleansing, little water blessing, and then drinking that water, it just cleans everything out. The universal solvent that really helps clean everything away, wash it clean. I love it. Okay. So last little bits. Let's go ahead and find out, like, let's call in an animal and a crystal. An animal and a crystal. I left my book up there. Okay, so these are crystals. Crystal for this. Labradorite. Labradorite. Wow. And labradorite is the one that helps shift and change. Oh my gosh, labradorite holds that feeling of the aurora borealis, the magnetic field, and that is what's happening inside her. Oh my gosh, she's kind of like the embodiment of labradorite up there. Okay, let me grab the book. all of them because I don't know which one it is. Okay. Crystally. Where are you? 27. Okay. Labradorite, and I will read it. It says, recharge your destiny. Sometimes it's impossible to connect with a sense of soul's purpose. Life can feel like a dreary trudge from work to grocery store to your desk piled with bills. In those moments when you feel far from magical or mystical, call on Labradorite. The Inuit people say that Labradorite was an ordinary seeming stone, and still it was struck open by a mighty warrior. And suddenly, Labradorite's matrix was revealed. Inside the ordinary was dancing fire. The lights leaped from stone into the sky and became the aurora borealis. Labradorite reminds you that you are both the ordinary seeming stone and the mighty warrior. You have the power to release your own secret depths and light the night sky with your flame. That is beautiful. That's really beautiful. Something that I know about Labradorite is that it is a feldspar, and that is in the family of stones that is also kin with sunstone, being that fire, masculine, divine energy. And then it is also kin with moonstone, which is that yin, feminine, dark part, the moon. And so that's pretty wild, isn't it? So we have a solar eclipse happening, which is sun moon. And then we have Labradorite, which is the aurora borealis, the one that transitions that daylight into nighttime. And it's a changing, it is a stone of alchemy and transformation and helping you see what cannot be seen and guiding you towards the beauty, the loveliness. Uh, I love it. Labradorite is a very, very, very powerful stone. And I often feel like it actually looks like water. That the way the light dances and streaks over the top of Labradorite it feels like water dancing on a dark, dark lake. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our it just popped out without even having to say a word. Owl. It's owl, guys. Of course, it's owl. Owl has been really big this week. Yeah. And I mean, is there ever a week where owl is not very big? I don't know. I'm just gonna put it out there. I think owl is always a big thing, but this week, especially in my life, owl has been making its presence very known. I love this owl, and owl is holding an earthworm. Earthworm. I think this is something to touch on, is that, when you're out there gardening, earthworms don't really get enough recognition because they're in there, they're cultivating the soil, they're little gardeners, they're fertilizing the soil. Without them, our soil just would not be as nourished and juicy. Those earthworms really make that soil come alive. And earthworms, we cannot see them. We can't see them, and they're doing such heavy, heavy work. Just imagine all that tough soil that they're getting through, and they're doing it so effortlessly. They do it with grace. They do it because they love to eat, right? But earthworms are a totem of the deep, dark mother energy, that belly, the what comes right before the abundance. So that void, it's that void energy. Yeah. And so owl is hanging out with the energy of the void. That's pretty powerful. And so all things that we're creating and manifesting emerge from the deep, dark void. Because first, in order for something to be something, it was nothing, nothing, and then something, which is that transition, that Labradorite energy, the transition of it's this idea and then it crystallizes into a thing. And I think we're in that in between. This new moon actually is probably going to help us really see what it is that we would like to begin creating more of in our life. And part of the way to know what it is we really, really want is we see the stuff we really, really don't want. It's just kind of how our eyes have been operating for a very long time. So here we go. The screech owl. Get creative. Clever screech owl has figured out how to get housekeeping service in her airy. She brings in a blind snake, a small creature who feeds on ants and flies, into her nest to eat the insects who would otherwise get into Owl's food stash. So she puts other beings to work. Interesting. Screech Owl is endlessly creative. She'll play chameleon, blending into the trees, her feathers forming a near perfect imitation of the bark. If she wants a little extra camouflage, she'll pretend to be a branch, making herself skinny and swaying gently so she looks just like another limb dancing in the breeze. When you hear Screech Owl trilling her melancholy song, it's time to get clever and creative with life's challenges. Wow. And I'll show you the big one, the big picture, because here you'll probably notice more that there's a pencil here. I really am getting the message of there's a very simple practice of writing down what it is that you want and really exploring and writing down how you would feel if those things already were here. Like they're in spirit. If you can imagine it, then it can be created. So if you sit there and you are writing down all the unseen, yet to be unseen things in your life. Maybe you need financial abundance. Maybe you are asking for that beautiful, lovely partner in your life. I don't know what you're asking for. Maybe you just want to feel better. Maybe you just want to have a mystical experience. Maybe you want to be more connected to friends and family. But whatever it is that you are your soul is asking for, write it all down. Write how you would feel if you already had that happen. And the biggest, most beautiful thing that happens next is to remind yourself just how grateful you'd be if they were here. I like to take that paper and then burn it, like transition, so it kind of worked backwards then. So it's like it's written down and now I move it into spirit and then just kind of surrender that and know that it will find me again. And it usually finds you in surprising and delightful and beautiful ways because that's how spirit likes to work. It likes to give gifts that are amusing and fun. So happy new moon solar eclipse, everybody. Take time to water your garden, take time to dream, write, do some things that really fill you up and yeah. So I guess I will see you all when I pop back here next time around. And until that time, I hope everybody is really, really well. So, bye. Turn it off. Bye, guys.